Hello, this is Joanne Hewins from LoveToCreate.typepad.com. Today I want to share with you some projects that I made for the One Stamp at a Time blog hop. I have this card and matching purse, and this one is a fun fold. I wanted to explain to you a little bit how to put it together. It's hard to do it in words to make good sense, so I thought I would try a video. I have hurt my shoulder. I'm not really supposed to be moving it very much, so you might see some funny movements, but we're going to do the best that I can. Now, this card has also been through 17 people making it in a class, so it's not in perfect condition anymore, but I think it's just beautiful. I had seen a video from Wendy Cranford, and she did this fold, and I'd forgotten about it. She used the honeybee bundle, and I thought I would try it with this. So let's get started. I'm going to be using several things from the new catalog, the January-June mini catalog. The Peaceful Poppies is the most used in this card. I will be using the Peaceful Poppies Designer Series paper in my project, as well as the Peaceful, or I think it's called the Poppy Moments dies. Yes, the Poppy Moments dies, and a little bit of the Painted Poppies stamp set, and some other things I'll go over through the video. But this is on page 24 through 27 in the catalog. Oops, that's not the front, is it? There you go. So this card starts with a piece of Rich Razzleberry, and it is cut at 4.5 by 11, and then I have already scored this at 2 3/4 from each end. So there's a score here and here. I don't know if you can see it. And I'm going to use my bone folder to reinforce those folds on there. Okay, and then on each, well, let's go ahead and talk about the inside. And I can see this inside has gotten messed up a lot, but I'm not going to really do that with you. I'm just going to tell you what I used. So this stamp was stamped in the Memento Black, and this is from the Painted Poppies stamp set. And then I colored it in with blends, and I used the light and dark Rich Razzleberry and the light and dark Old Olive blends to color that in. Now the saying here, your friendship is a blessing, comes from the So Sentimental stamp set. It's a lovely stamp set. And then that's it for the inside. So that's what I did. I did it on a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 Whisper White. So I'll leave that and go back to the outside of the card. So these two flaps have a piece of Old Olive. Now I'll have these measurements on my blog, but I believe this is 2.5 by 4. And then a piece of designer paper, and it's from the, it's the Peaceful Poppies, what did I just say? I'm still learning the names. Peaceful Poppies Designer Series paper. However, because it's been through a class, I'm about out of that paper. So for the card today, I'm going to be using the Regal's 6x6 Designer Series paper for the front, and I already have that cut. The designer paper is just a little bit smaller, so it would be, let's see, this is 2.5, 2 3/8 by 3 7/8. And I've already adhered the two of those together since my arm isn't working so great. And we'll go ahead and put these onto the card. I'm hoping that I'm on the screen for this. Yeah. Okay. So we will add this, and since it is the script on this, I want to make sure that I add it right side up to the card. So here's this side and this side. Okay. All right, so there's that, and it would come together to look like this. Now, we have 3 strips that go across this card. So let's talk about those. The ones that I have here and on this card are 1 by 4. And then the designer series paper, again from the Peaceful Poppies DSP, is 7/8 by 3 7/8. Now, my suggestion is that you kind of lay these on the card and see what's going to work. You want to make sure that in the middle you have some space. So I'm going to adhere these 2 first. I'm going to add them over here to the left side, and I'm going to make them go about just a little bit so that you can see some of the designer paper on that, but not a lot. I'm going to try to make them both the same, and I want to look from end to end and try to get that about the same. Now, the part about this that you want to remember is that these strips will only be on this side of the card. So you're not going to put your adhesive back here, okay? Just on the part that will go above the card. So I think what I'm going to do is kind of figure out how close to the edge I want to put that. So, and I did not use a ruler when I was doing this the first time, but I'm just going to kind of put a ruler here and see that that's, okay, about 1/2 inch on there. So now I'm going to lay it here, and I'm going to figure out about where I'm going to put my glue. So my glue isn't going to go any further than right there. So I'm just going to lay my bone folder there to kind of remind myself of that. I hope that wasn't too difficult. And then this next one would be about the same. Okay. So I'm going to put this one there, and this one up here about the same. And hopefully I don't have glue sticking out back here. Yay! All right. So now we've got that done. This one, and I see I did go over too far, but we'll just let that go. These should be moved over more this way so that it's more even on each side. But we'll just leave it there for now since I've already gotten those adhered. And no, I'm not going to try to do that. So this one will go here. And so the glue doesn't need to be past this area in here. So I'm going to shut that again and make sure I get all of that equidistant. And then this goes down. Okay, good. So far you can do as I do, except I did not, even though I had a ruler, I did not get those equidistant from here to here, and it really should be. The flower's going to hide some of that, so it's not going to be a terrible thing, but it should be. Okay, so this is how it opens after you get the flaps. Now, the flower has been cut out using let me get it over here. Using these dies, the Poppy Moments dies. And for the flower on the card, I used this one for the outside in Blackberry Bliss. I used this one for the inside in Rich Razzleberry. I used this piece for the inside of the flower, and that is cut out in Purple Posy. So, and then for the leaves, this one is in Old Olive, and this one is in Mossy Meadow. Now there's some intricate gluing here, and I went ahead and glued some of my leaves and flowers. So I'm going to pull out some leaves here. And on this card, I did all of the leaves just the way they are on the die. On this one, I took one of the leaves and glued it all backwards so that it kind of faces the other direction, just to see how that would work. So you want to put your flower on these flaps right here, but you actually need to look at it and see how it's going to look on the card. So I'm going to pull out some glue dots here, and I'm going to lay my flower down, and I'm going to figure out where I want my leaves to be. So I'm going to put one of my leaves right in here. So, well, you know what? I should have put the glue dot on it and then tried it. So I'm going to put a couple of little glue dots pretty close. I'm going to lay my flower here. And I'm sorry, I keep pulling it down toward my arm, but it's in a sling. And okay, so I'm going to do that one there. And this one I want that way. So I'll put another couple of glue dots here, and I'll just lay this and get it where I want it. Okay, so I think I'll put that there. Now, this sounds crazy. What I'm going to do is hold my flower where I want it. I'm going to pull all of this without trying, I did just move it, but without trying to move it much. And then you want to glue it to the flaps. So what I'm going to do is just bring a pen, and I'm going to draw a line that shows where I can put the glue. And you may not be able to see those, but I was trying to kind of keep it where it wouldn't be seen. So I'm going to add my glue there, and then I'm going to add this back on there. Now I'm going to close it. Now I'm going to put this middle one right through this opening right here. And that looks pretty good. So I'll push all of that flat. It's hard to say that in words. It's really not that hard to get that on your card. Now for this other leaf, I want it, oops, here's another glue dot back here, to look like it's coming from this flower. So I'm going to hold this here and just put that under like that. Okay, so it's glued to the flap. It is not to the flower. So you're going to have your inside here. This is going to slip through that opening there to close. Okay, and then I have one thing left to do on the front of this, or this card, and that's my saying. Now the saying that I have used is from the So Sentimental stamp set. It's this one right here, the For You, and I cut that out with the Stitched So Sweetly dies. Now these dies, can you beat this. I love them. And I use this die right here. So you can get the So Sentimental stamp set and the Stitch So Sweetly dies together as a bundle. So that's a great thing too. So I'm just going to take my saying, add a little bit of glue, and then this will go here. And I did that on Whisper White. So there you go. There's the card, and here's the inside of the card, the one that's been through a beating. And let's get to the purse. Now the purse I thought went really well with the card. Here's the new card that I made. And I just was tickled pink at how well this went together. So the die that I used for this is, oops, hold on a second. The die that I used for this is the All Dressed Up die. And it is in the back of the catalog, toward the back of the catalog, and has the lipstick and the purse and the perfumes and the buckles. And this particular die can be used to make a purse like I have here, or you can take these and bend them up or bend them to the inside and make a book bag out of it. But for my purposes, I wanted the purse today. Now inside, I'll just take this out and put all this crinkle. The crinkle came from the Dollar Tree, a bag I've had in the closet forever. And then I just have, this was also from the Dollar Tree. I think it's the York Peppermint Patties unwrapped mini things. I put them in one of the 3x6 gusseted bags and just tied it with some of the twine, the linen thread, and the Mossy Meadow twine that is part of the Magnolia Lane combo, ribbon combo. So that's the inside. But what you're concerned about is this. So when I get all of that out, you can see how that could fold up to make the book bag. And they have these straps that you can add and pull around to the back just like a real book bag. So I have my two pieces, and you do have an orientation on those, while this paper, and this is from the Peaceful Poppies paper, has this on the back. This doesn't have an orientation, but if you cut out more than one, you do need to cut them the same way. Ask me how I know that. I was just trying to save a little bit of paper. So I have cut out two of these. I have used my bone folder to fold here and here and here and here and here. Now, the word of warning that I have for you on this is that the fold line comes in between the two rows of stitching. And the stitching tends to want to fold. So be very careful about getting these folded at the right place. Then you'll need some tear and tape down each side and in the small flap. And I really think you only need to put tear and tape on one of the ends. So let me see if I can get this one together. It's a little hard to place some of this, and I'm not sure I could do so great on camera, but we'll try. And you want to match up here and this up at the top. So actually, it's pretty good. Okay, and then you'll do the same on the other side. This one might be a little bit harder to match because you can't really lay it flat so well. Okay, I think that worked out pretty well. So I'll take these off of each end. This is my take your pick tool that I'm using for that. And then I'm going to take it off here. So I have another week before I go back to the doctor. So I just am supposed to hold my shoulder still. And then they'll tell me more, I suppose. Therapy is in my future. So I'm going to fold in those ends. And then this one. And then one thing that you want to remember is when you use your adhesive on this flap, not to go all the way out to the end, because when you close this, it doesn't go all the way out to the end. There's a little bit of space there. And then if you want to, I didn't get that one bent. If you want to use your bone folder down in there, you can. And I missed getting this line scored. And it's not wanting to score, fold. There we go, I think. It wants to fold on the stitching. Okay, I think that'll be fine because we're going to have that sticking out anyway. Now I have just noticed that I failed to cut out the straps. There are dies. Or there is a die to cut out the strap for the handles of the handbag or the pieces for the backpack. I left that out. It's going to be a little bit shorter than this. And for my handbag, I put a glue dot here. And then actually I curled it a little. And I put a glue dot here. And then what would be the other end, I put a glue dot and did the same on the other side. So that would be how you would do the handles. Now, I also added some strips here. And since we're making our card to go with the card that we just made that has the script DSP on there, I'm going to use my scraps from that. So what I'm going to do is add one of these strips. Actually, it might be better if I just go right across here with my glue. And then I can take my scissors and just kind of turn this like that, and just clip it even. Then I can do the same over here. Okay, and then I've got a tiny, this one's not as wide as we had on the other purse, but I think it will work. So I'm just going to add this. I'm just going to put it right up next to the other one. And we'll clip that with the fold. Okay. And then we would do the same thing down here at the bottom. So I'm going to add my green across there. I'm just kind of eyeballing this. And then I'll add my Razzleberry, kind of between Razzleberry and Blackberry Bliss. There. Oops. Just push that out of place. All right. And then we'll do a little bit of trimming on this. And we'll have that trim in place. And then from the Poppy Moments dies, for the smaller flower, I'm using this piece and this piece. Whoops. Well, hard to pick them up. This piece and then this small piece right here for the inside. And I've already made that. So I have my flower and I have my 2 leaves. So we're using Rich Razzleberry for the back, Blackberry Bliss for the outline, and this is Poppy, Purple Poppy. And then for the leaves, we have Old Olive and Mossy Meadow. And I did glue these so that one of the leaves kind of went the opposite way by using the glue on the back. So I'm going to figure out where I want the leaves to go on my flower. And I'm just going to use some glue dots to help me with that. Actually, I guess I need to put that on this side. So one flower will go like this. And because I have it so my leaves will go in opposite direction, it won't look exactly like my sample. So I'm going to put the other one kind of like that, which means I might want to put my flower a little bit like this on there. So I'm going to use some dimensionals to put that on. And I'll just use this little piece right here. So I will be adding some handles to my bag, but I won't do that on screen. I'll do that a little bit later. Be a shame not to finish it, wouldn't it? And I'm going to put my flower like this. And so that looks a little bit different, but I think I kind of like it a little bit better with those going in opposite directions. Now the word friend, I picked from this stamp set, Forever Blossoms. It's right here. I stamped that in Blackberry Bliss. And again, I used the Stitch So Sweetly Dies, the smaller one, for that. And I don't have that. I figured we just talked about it with the saying on the card, but that would go there on dimensionals. So that pretty much will tell you how you what you need to know to make these projects. So again, we have the purse with the all dressed up dies, and then the card. And then this is the one we made today without the handles. So those two would go together. So if you need any supplies, I'd love for you to order from me, Joanne Hewins. Go to lovetocreate.typepad.com. And I hope you learned something. I hope you'll try this. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.